What up, y'all?
Welcome
to the J&O Show.
What we talk about.
This TikToker was talking about the sentiment women have nowadays that marriage is a trap.
It's a trap.
It was all a conspiracy.
There's a conspiracy.
C-O-N.
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
Yep.
To take down a woman. To subjugate you. To make you a slave to the system.
You can't escape it either.
Just like being a child to a parent. Y'all get that later on if you keep on watching.
Go on and push play.
Marriage is a trap. Do not do it. Nobody wants to be doing this every single day. It is a trap. You know what the real trap is? We traded loyalty for options, respect for attention, commitment for convenience. Now women are walking all over the place saying, we don't need a man. And the man has stopped becoming the man that we dreamed of. It is actually scary what we're seeing nowadays. We say we want safety, but we reject structure. We want love, but we treat submission as if it was slavery. The truth is, marriage isn't a trap. Loneliness and bitterness is. One day you'll wake up alone and you will realize being alone, doing life alone, that's the real trap.
Well. Well then.
Well, as y'all know, we pro-marriage over here because this is the channel by married people, for married people, for people who want to be married. So, because we're pro-marriage, you know, I loved that clip right there. Yep. Shout out to Poor Man's Podcast because that's where I got it from, a video that he put in one of his compilations. I appreciate that. Yeah, see, he didn't put no description in his video, so I can't go and look at the original. I appreciate her talking about the trap because the idea that marriage is a trap is crazy.
That's crazy.
And the reason I think marriage is a trap is crazy because the reality is marriage is just another very close relationship. It just happens to be the closest relationship that you will ever have.
Yep.
But it is just another intimate relationship. If you think marriage is a trap, you think intimate relationships are a trap because that's really what it is. In every relationship, everybody plays roles. It doesn't matter if it's kids to parents, brothers to sisters, everybody plays a role. Are all of those traps? Tell me, is being a child a trap to your parents? And I'm doing that for a reason. Because the parents have absolute authority in the house over the kids, right?
Yep.
So are the kids in a trap? Or is it just a role? What about brothers and sisters? That's a trap too?
Good point.
Yeah, good point.
I'm just saying. I didn't know if you had anything to say before I click. Nothing? Nothing.
Can you imagine a woman who convinced tens of millions of women not to have children, not to prioritize motherhood? She herself, 20 years later, that same woman, she says, I regret the situation. I mourn. This is strong language. I mourn for my unborn children. I wish I had children.
Now, here's the thing. That's not going to be all women. There's going to be some women who don't want kids and they think that that's amazing. They just want to travel. I feel sorry for you when you get older. I feel sorry for you if you ever get like injured or anything like that. Hopefully you have family to take care of you and all that stuff. And they can get to you because if you happen to do that and you're overseas by yourself, it's going to be real crazy being in Italy by yourself and you get hurt and you have to go to the hospital and there's nobody there that you know. And you just have to trust that the people that are around you are going to take care of you because nobody's there to advocate for you. Yeah. Oh my goodness, please don't be knocked unconscious. Who's the person that's going to deal with all of that stuff? Because it's just you.
Unborn children. I wish I had children. This is unfair that you convince tens of millions of women. Yes, you convince tens of millions of women that motherhood is not important, that having a career is. And then she says, I mourn for my unborn children. Now, the same woman, Jermaine Greer, she says, now we have to look. Can you imagine she says this? All I'm telling you to do is look at the confessions of the feminists. Forget about me, what I say. Look at the confessions of the feminists. She says, now we have to look at motherhood being a full-time career option. This is exactly what she states.
He's talking about a first-wave feminist named Jermaine Greer. In her book, she says she mourns the death of her unborn children. And even in her old age of 60 years old, she still dreams of having children. The fact that she sold those same lives to millions of women that will lead them to the same result is crazy. But again, misery loves company. When you late to class or late to work, it's always nice when somebody else walks in late with you because again, misery loves company. And trust me, the of consequences never comes with lube.
Whoa!
Wow. Bruh. I don't know where that ending came from.
I don't either.
Yikes.
But You know what is crazy to me though? It's just like the conditioning that has been done.
I think you've been brainwashed.
It's like even when these women who sold these lies with these magazines for however many years, several decades.
We did a video on that.
Yes, he might try to, yeah, there you go. The conditioning that has been done, even with them saying like they have these regrets, unfortunately, a lot of women are still not gonna hear it because it's too late.
And there's nothing that you can do or say that's gonna stop it from happening.
It's like it's been ingrained in them now for several generations that this is how it should be. This is how it's supposed to be.
Cause y'all free now. Y'all been slaves up until the last 20 years.
Bruh.
That's crazy.
That's crazy talk.
We have to do a better job as a society of not allowing ourselves to be desensitized and conditioned by the things that we see on television, internet, mobile devices, whatever, that are not real. There is so much fake news out there that people take those things for truisms. And well, years ago, before the explosion of the internet and social media specifically, and people really just had television, radio, they had magazines, your newspapers, and they had certain things that were put in there all the time. That's why the Bible says that we have to guard our eyes, guard our ears from the things that we watch, that we see, that we listen to. If the things that you're watching, the things that you're listening to, if it doesn't match up with what the things that you know to be true, or you know is not real, or is not right, or it doesn't align with your values or your belief systems, we have to start pushing it away.
Please just get away from me.
Because the Bible also says by beholding we become changed. And that's what happened to a lot of these women, because they were just fed all of this stuff over decades. And now it's just in them. And it passes through to the next generation. They birth that basically to the next generation. And it's stuck in them. I feel really sad for a lot of these women that have that mindset. I don't directly know of a whole lot of modern feminist women, like personally. I know a couple, but it's more so like from a distance. And the few that I know from a distance that I've met over the years, like kind of hearing how their conversation has twisted the older that they're getting, and they're realizing like, shoot, I'm dang near 50 and it's just me. Ouch. There's nobody here. Their relationships didn't work, or they just decided like, you know what, like screw this. I just want to go and I'm just going to go get, have me a kid, whether it's, they do
IVF.
They get a donor or what have you. And it's just like, it's too late. They come to the realization after they've done all this stuff, and it's like, I don't want to say it's too late because they're still alive, but it's going to be that much harder to try to establish having a relationship, because that's what they're missing. That's what they're craving. They're missing having the relationship. And again, this is not for all women, because there are some women out there who are okay just being by themselves.
For now. That's gonna flip when y'all jokers turn 60, 65.
Yeah, and I definitely, and I agree, because we weren't designed to be alone. Mm-hmm. God made Eve for Adam for a reason, because he said it is not good for man to be alone. Two heads are better than one. There's a reason why we were put here together on this earth. But yeah.
Some people can do it. I think that
they can. It's not ideal.
I'll be honest with you. I was one of those people that I think could have done it in my former mindset. But you also have to take into consideration, I was depressed, y'all. So
that's just sad, man.
There's that part of it. Perspective on life was really, really drab. But even now, I can spend a lot of time to myself. And a lot of that has to do with how I was raised and all that other stuff. I was one of those people, but it is nothing compared to having a family, having a reason to get up and to get out and to do things. Like, women and children really do give men a reason to get up and be productive and to be the best that they can be. And I think that women have a very similar thing. It just looks different because the roles are different. And I think it's sad that we live in a society now where a lot of people are fighting that so hard. And I think that if we were in a society where both options were presented, like, hey, you free. If you want to go and do this thing and be by yourself, fine, fine, fine. If you want to go and have a family, have a kids and everything, fine, fine, fine. If you want to go and do the career thing and be by yourself, this is probably one of the best ways for you to go about it. If you want to do the family thing and everything, this is one of the best ways to go about it, because there are biological factors that you have to consider. So if you over here change your mind, you need to know this information too. If it was disseminated in a way that was fair and just rational and just like based upon what it is that people wanted to do, what they felt their purpose was, because everybody is not purposed to have a family.
Right.
Everybody's not purposed to have a husband or have a wife. That's not across the board.
Right.
I think most people are. I would argue vehemently that most people, that is what they need. But there are a class of people that purpose-wise would do better, strive better, work better by themselves. So if those options were presented in an equitable fashion where it was like, look, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what you have to consider. This is what you have to consider. Now you have to make the decision. Or if you're religious, you have to pray and find out what is meant for you to do. You have to figure out what your purpose in life is and then go in the direction that you feel that you're supposed to go into. But it's not pushed like that. It's pushed like, this is not desirable.
Right.
This is, you should go for this over here. And then if you get that where you want it, you could think about possibly coming back over here and doing this if you have time. There are cases upon cases upon cases of women online crying about not having had children, crying about IVF not working, crying about like how making that decision has left them feeling destitute and destroyed.
I've waited for my husband for so many years, and I'm just getting mad, and I'm about to turn 40. There's a lot of stress on me right now.
There are things online about men talking about how they've gone and they've built themselves up into the type of man that all these women want, and they can't trust any of the women that want them. Like, we've done videos on all of them on our channel from both sides. And it doesn't seem like the people ever stop to think, what is it you really want in life? And what's the best way to go about getting it?
Right.
There are considerations to be had. There are biological implications that will prevent you from having everything. So things have to be done in a certain order, in a certain way, or you can't do it.
Yeah.
And people are not being told that simple, honest truth. They're being pushed to go this way or to go that way. And I don't know if I said it in the last video, if I just said it. I think a lot of that stuff has to do with control. That's just me.
Yeah.
Because the men are not incentivized if they're just by themselves. Men require usually a family to be incentivized. There's a class of men that are incentivized by reaching their own goals, but most men require the family element. And women are very vulnerable when they're out there by themselves.
Yeah. And something we mentioned in another video, I'm just going to throw this in here real quick because I think it's relevant. When you were saying that depending on what you want, there are certain things that you have to do to put in place. Like women, if you want to be able to have a career and you want to be able to have a family, we have to be realistic about it, because if you wait till you're in your 30s to decide, okay, now I want to start having children, there are chances that you can have a difficult pregnancy or that your child can be born with some type of abnormalities. Not even just that, but what was the stat? Is it 1 in 3 or 1 in 4?
1 in 3. One in 3 women 30 and older.
30 and older actually have difficulty conceiving. And these are not things that I think are being put out there. And for those of you out there who are going to be like,
well, I was 40 when I had my first kid.
Beautiful, great. God bless you and your child. But that is not the norm. That is not the average. You can go look up this information. You can go look CDC. You can look up
Institute of Family Studies.
You can go look all this stuff up on their reputable websites, okay, to get this information on there. According to the majority of people, if you wait, you're putting yourself and your unborn child at risk. So just think about these things. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
If you guys made it this far, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Okay, should be around here somewhere. Turn on your post notifications so that way, hold on. Turn on your post notifications. Okay, drop us a comment and let us know what you think about all that we shared thus far. Okay, and give us a thumbs up so that way you can tell YouTube that you appreciate what we're putting down.
What we're putting down.
Hey, everybody. Down in the description, there are 2 links.
One is to a GoFundMe, and the other one is to a video that explains what the GoFundMe is for. Long story short, we have a medical situation with our daughter that we have to pay for everything out of pocket, and we could really use you guys' help. If you have the time, we'd love for you to go check it out. If you have the money, the funds, we'd love for you guys to help. If not, maybe you could send a link to somebody else who can help. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Press the out button.